coming to you live.
Yes, live.
Welcome to the Ref Room.
Hockey talk for parents, players, coaches, and fans.
Text everyone you know. Facebook, chat, tweet, buzz, bling. I don't know. Just do what you have to do.
This is the Ref Room with Scott and Brad.
Come on. It's about to go down.
The Ref Room starts right now.
All right, what's up, everybody? I am Scott Smokin' Sills. Welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday, and it is Christmas time, so Merry Christmas to everybody, or Festivus for the rest of us, because it's officially Festivus Day, I believe. And I am joined by my man, Brad Baumrock, who is dressed for the occasion, and welcome in.
Trying to put some holiday cheer back out there, Scott. It's still depressing not having hockey, and it's even worse. There's no snow on the ground for Christmas. So Chicago's really changed in the past 20 years.
I think it's supposed to change because it's like 50 degrees today and windy as can be. But I think we're supposed to have the bottom fall out tonight. So for all you guys that have been trying to build your outdoor rinks, get ready because I think you might be able to get some ice up in the next couple days here. So that's the story. We got a lot to talk about today. It is coming up on the holidays, and normally we'd be swamped because there would be tournaments coming in here and hockey like crazy with everybody being off for a couple weeks. And instead, we're sitting here doing shows during the daytime. Go figure.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing too, Scott. I was thinking about it just yesterday, talking to my wife about our plans for New Year's. New Year's Day, I normally have a hockey game to get ready for to watch. There's not going to be a hockey game. It's going to be a weird change.
Yeah, we don't have the Classic this year, which is really something we haven't not had in a long time. I mean, that's something like the Super Bowl of hockey that we all look forward to. But, the good news is the NHL is coming back, so they're going to reopen in January on the 13th, I believe.
Yep.
I don't know. Have they announced the conferences yet, how they're going to do this? Because it's obviously going to be a little different. I'm sure they're not going across the border, so I think they're going to put in a Canadian division is what I understand.
I actually emailed you a realignment, Scott.
Oh, when did you email that? Just now?
No, it was earlier. No,
okay.
Yeah, they're gonna realign all the conferences, and Scott, if you want to try and pull that up in your email, you can put it up. If not,
yeah, I'd have trouble finding it in my 200,000 emails in here. So.
That's okay. Well, the Canadian teams are going to stay in Canada the whole year, but I just saw an article yesterday as well. It's going to affect the officials. They're going to have designated crews that are just going to be in Canada for the year.
That
so
makes
they're
sense.
not going to come back and forth. So the NHL recognizes that those guys are going to see the same officials a lot more times than normal. Yeah. But, they've basically kind of said you're professional hockey players and professional referees, so get used to it. It's a weird year.
Yeah, you're going to have to just get along.
So, right.
Just like
they're
now,
going to have
probably seeing the same guy. If anybody's skating, you're seeing the same people over and over.
Well, there's another thing that they're going to have a 56-game season, and a lot of people are disappointed because they wanted to try and get in a whole season. Yeah. And I wouldn't be so disappointed because, the players are going to play at a prorated rate. The teams are still going to have their games on site, but without fans. So they're going to foot all that bill. So to have a 56-game season, it'll be shorter, yes, but in the long run of things, it'll realign the season for next year so that they can open it up at a normal time and hopefully, be able to get back on track as fast as possible. But I don't know what's going to happen until now that they started the pointy thing, which I'm not going to say it live. Yeah. Hopefully it'll get going here. So, I mean, it's interesting, but the NHL looks like they got their shit together, if we put it politely.
Well, that's cool. The other thing we've got going, so we do have something to look forward to. We got the World Juniors going on right now. So last night they had two preseason or pre-tournament games, I guess you would say. U.S. played. Of course, they won, I think, 3-2. We got to see one of our local guys, Mr. Turcotte, doing a great job out there. I think he's the assistant captain of the team, and he was a great leader here when he was playing he played for CYA, if I'm not mistaken, here in Chicago. I know I worked a couple of his games a number of years ago. He was always a great player and a good leader. I mean, you could just see he was groomed to do this, and he comes from a hockey family and everything. So, he certainly had the teachers there to make things work for him.
Well, there is the Turcotte stick handling school
Yes,
that,
yes.
it's been very popular over a lot of years.
Yes,
So,
it has.
good hockey family, though. I
Yeah, Sylvain
appreciate you bringing that
and
up.
company. Yep. So, we're very excited for them and very proud of him, and hope he does great, which I'm sure he will. And is he? I'm got to think he's already drafted. I don't know who he's been drafted by. At that age,
I'm
they're
not
probably,
sure. There's,
yeah, I don't know. If you know, put it in the comments. If you're out there and you know who Mr. Turcotte will be playing for or who he's property of, love to hear it in the comments. Okay. By the way, you guys, feel free to check in. We got something cool we're going to do today. We're not there yet, but we have the proposed rules for the rule change year, which is next season. And so we have the list, and it's like 250 pages long. So I thought it was going to be a couple pages we'll go through, but we'll actually put some of this stuff up. So we're going to discuss some of these things, and I'm sure there's some things we're all going to agree on that we think are great, and there's probably some things that we're not sure about, and we will go from there. Okay, we thank you very much, whoever just
Mr. Turcotte
put that up.
drafter.
But let me go in here and put that up because that comes in. He says the LA Kings. Now, I can't tell who that's from. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, I can't tell. Oh, it's from Brandon Janda. So, guys, I tell you this every week. If you come in through the group on Facebook, we don't get to see who you are. That's just a Facebook privacy thing. But if you come in through the Ref Room page, which is my personal page, your name goes up there. Or if you come in from YouTube, YouTube will post you up there and you'll be able to see. Just like this one right here that says, love the outfit, Brad. So the big question is, Brad, they always say, are people wearing pants when they do these types of shows because they're sitting on these Zoom meetings or whatever? Do you have pants on today, Brad?
Yes, I am wearing sleep pants. I, got
okay.
up, did some stuff around the house, showered, and put on some clean clothes.
See, this is real insider information for you guys, people. So people do actually wear pants to do these shows. So in case you are wondering, now you know. The other thing, so I wanted to continue talking about the World Juniors because one of the things that I found to be interesting, you mentioned the NHL is having to put the officials into one area and they're going to work all those games. Well, last night they had 6 referees and 6 linesmen working the games in order to get them prepared and, let them feel comfortable without jumping in there having to do a full game. But this year they went with all Canadian referees for this tournament, which is very unusual. So, it's a great opportunity for all the Canadians up there that are reffing because they're going to get all the games, obviously. But it's certainly a little different, especially, Canada being a competitor. Normally they don't allow teams from the teams that are playing, or the referees can't come from the same country as the teams that are playing. Is that the best way to describe that, Brad?
Well, yes. I mean, that just happens a lot in general, just to get reduced stigma.
To keep it fair.
But, yeah, I mean, but also, too, there wouldn't be an entire Canadian staff up there, so you'd have a big staff to choose from. So why would they want to see the ones, is the teams go out and play their tune-up games, which you would call it normally. They'd go out and they'd play, college teams, various semi-pro teams. I know the women's team played one of our local high schools before they went to the Olympics in Sochi. They came out and played, so why would you want to have them see the same officials? Because, the officials that normally referee those games are the same people that you're going to see again in the pool play or, in the World Juniors. So it's better to get, another perspective. Plus, the teams that are coming in from, Sweden and stuff, they're not going to see American officials. They're going to see Swedish officials. They're going to see. So I think it's a good thing that they separate them anyways at that point, because you do build a relationship with players as you go along.
Yep.
And, it's not intentional. It just happens as you go. And then even think about this, some of these officials that come in, luckily 99% of them speak English.
Yeah.
But, if you have somebody coming in from North Korea North Korea, but you know what I mean, South Korea, because the women's team has South Korea
shows up to do the game. Right, you're going to let him do the game, right?
right. No, but if there's a language barrier issue, it's easier always to revert back to your native tongue. So stuff like that becomes difficult as well, and then people get accused of things. So it's just much better for all around. But the Canadian staff idea, I think that was probably more forced on them than what they'd like, because the IIHF loves to promote everybody. including the officials. So I think that was more, they got the visas and the travel permits
restrictions.
For the players.
That's exactly. They came out and said it's travel restrictions. That's why they're going with the Canadian pool of referees and nobody else is coming in. So I'm actually surprised. I mean, as much talk as Canada has had with not letting people into the country, with the NHL going on and things of that nature, that they would even allow all these teams from other countries to come in, even for the tournament. And there was talk of the OHL playing with no check and everything else because of what's going on, that, again, they're letting them play regular hockey, which they should. And, the fact that they let these other people in from the other countries. So, that's kind of cool. Well, I'm sure they had a lot of testing.
Right. Well, yeah, that was going on last week. For the last couple of weeks, they've been there for a while now. All the teams had their tune-up camp on site. And, I think they're looking at the success of a couple other places like the NCHC. They just had a bubble for 3 weeks and they played, that's college hockey. Now there's going to be one coming up. I just saw, I think it's down in Florida. They're going to have, and it's going to be a bubble. So, they're going to have it for so many days, 30 days or whatever. Yeah. And they're going to try and at least play some hockey to get everybody on the ice, because I think everybody's getting antsy. And they saw the success of the NHL. Yeah. The World Juniors is going well. And then, baseball, they traveled. And baseball still had a pretty good success rate. But I think the big one that showed the best was football. Football has most of the college teams, most of the professional teams participate. All the professional teams did. And they're having like zero transfer that they can find on the field.
Well, they've got the money to be able to do the testing. There was a story on the news, I believe, yesterday, and they talked about Oak Park River Forest High School and how much they want to reopen the school and they want to have testing. So they have the contract out. There's 2 bids going on, and it's for saliva testing. And they're talking that this would cost the school between $500,000 and $1 million just to test the students to go through. And I think they were talking, I don't know if they were talking twice a day, but once a day for sure, saliva test. And that's a lot of money. Now, big question is, obviously I don't think all the schools could afford to do that. Could they? I mean, do they have $1 million to put into every school to test the students to go back to school? And if they did, does that mean, since they're getting the testing and they do it for the schools, can we reopen hockey? Can we reopen sports for high school if they're getting the testing? Or are they going to say, it's only for because they're in their classroom bubble? But that's not really a bubble. They're still going to go out. They're going to be exposed. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that can play out.
Well, the bigger question would be, Scott, even if let's say we did find all that money, maybe there's a suitcase somewhere that I don't know about, right? And we find all that money, right? I think
there's a few of those suitcases out there. You know that.
Would there be enough tests?
Yeah.
And what happens if there was a shortage of tests?
Well, it's saliva testing, so I don't know. I'm assuming it's just something that they have a machine that analyzes. I don't know. I don't know how the saliva test works. Is that what the NBA based a lot of their success on, was having the saliva testing, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be interesting, but it's, it's very pricey. I mean, you couldn't really do that for the hockey teams. They couldn't afford to do it, or the rinks couldn't afford to do it, so I don't know how this is going to, how that's going to work, but we've got some other stuff we want to talk about today too.
Yeah, let's talk about something different. This depressing stuff is
absolutely. So, are we ready to get into the rules?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
there's
surprised we got this real fast.
Yeah, we've got a list of all the proposed rule changes, and they've gone through like the committee. So let me bring this up on the screen so we can kind of get a better view of this. So, playing rule change proposals. But this thing is like 270 pages long, or some crazy number. 240 pages. 240. So, we've got kind of a summary of the proposals. So, we can just kind of, go through some of these if you guys want. We'd love to have some questions and some feedback from everybody. So, if you're watching online and there's a rule you want to find out about, we're happy to look it up. We've got this, and there's some things that just kind of have aligned a little differently from what they have. A lot of it is verbiage changes, and a lot of that has to do with, probably the body contact being considered competitive contact instead of body contact, which I think is a really good idea personally. I think that makes it a lot clearer, and it removes the, like, you have to have a check involved to be in a situation. I guess that's the best way to put it, but it makes a lot of sense. So where do you want to start?
Well, let's just stop right there on the glossary stuff there.
Okay.
Like a lot of this glossary verbiage comes from the new checking enhancement, where they don't want any late hits. They don't want any hits that are avoidable. The good one that I like in there that they added vulnerable or defenseless, which we can scroll through later. But basically what that's saying is if a player is unaware that you're coming at them and they're in a defenseless position, it's going to be a penalty now.
It's been a penalty. I'm sorry. I mean, you try to explain that to a JV coach, and they don't seem to get it, or a JV player. They think they're allowed to hit anything that moves, and when they get that penalty 5 minutes into the first period or less, and then they're just shocked, like, that was a good hit. That's a great hit.
Right.
If the guy had the puck, but he doesn't have the puck, he's along the wall, and you've just blown this guy up completely. So I think that's a definite, if they need to change terminology or whatever they need to do to make that clear. I mean, we've had it impressed upon all the officials over the last couple of seasons to make sure we're enforcing that. And, we have. But, guys still think that they can, follow through on their check, which is not the case. If you watched the game last night, the World Juniors game, they had a 2-10 for boarding, clearly a boarding call. Would you have said it was a soft call or, wow, that should only have been a 2-minute? No, it's a 2-minute and a 10. It's a boarding penalty. So I was happy to see that. Not that he got hit. I'm just happy to see that they're calling that sort of thing and enforcing it. And then the other thing that they have is, the fact that, like, somebody just blew somebody up along the wall, and it's like they called it, which is exactly what they're supposed to do. But, watch that in a high school game and see if everybody makes that call. It'd be very interesting to see.
No, well, what they've added to it, Scott, is the terminology to where now you can explain yourself better on those hits. I mean, even the addition of a late body check. What's a late body check? Basically it's that old finishing your check. The guy's dished the puck and you take it 3 extra strides and you still hit him. Well,
there's no more 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and then blow them up. It's not going to happen, folks. You're going to the box.
They're just trying to clear it all up, and that was again, the checking initiative that was started, and that a lot of that came from the IIHF because they were starting to do it, and as much as we don't realize it all the time. We're actually training the players for upper levels of hockey, and the NCAA already does this. Their player safety protocol is above and beyond a lot of other places. So you got to start teaching them young, and this is where it starts at the grassroots.
Absolutely. Now we should keep going because I'm wondering, did they, at some point, I want to go through and look at some of the possibilities of. We've always said since they incorporated some of these rules, like not being able to ice the puck when you're shorthanded up until a certain age. So you have to be 15. So U15 to be able to ice the puck, or high school or JV. But I wonder if some of these are now going to come into play. So we're going to take a look at some of that stuff while we're on the air today. And I'll just keep scrolling. You tell me where you want to stop, Brad. Let's find some stuff that says approve right here.
Hang on.
Okay.
Right. A little bit above.
You want me to like that?
There you go. Yep.
Okay.
Removes the description of each group and adds in 15 only age classification, which wasn't in our rule book. It goes on across the whole country. I'm glad they added it because it makes it much clearer for us and for everybody else where the U15 stand in the rule book.
Yeah, it used to be as they would describe it as U14 and below, U16 and below, but we do have that U15 category, and it was never, spelled out for everybody. And I know that some officials have wondered, like, oh, U15, can they ice the puck now when they're killing a penalty? The answer has always been yes, but now it will at least make it a lot clearer than before. So,
Yeah.
They called it midget at one point, U15, U16.
Right.
Now it's U15, U16. It's still midget, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
and
they
it's, it's
just
broken
making
down
it more
for you.
streamlined.
Yep.
No, so
all right. Should we keep going here?
absolutely. Now you're in the junior part of the glossary, and then
So let's keep going.
Yep. I like the one that if you go back up there, Scott, under composition of teams, adds language from the glossary team personnel pertaining to the players who are unable to play into this rule. It's always a question that you want to know. I mean, is that, guy able to play or not? That's a player unable to play. Are they team personnel at that point or not? I don't know what they're going to redo it as, but
it's interesting. So you're referring to like the guy that may be sitting out injured or something that's on the bench with a helmet and a jersey on, which they've always have allowed, at least since I've been reffing, that a player that's sitting there could be on the bench. And is he counted in the number of players? And the answer to that is no. Am I correct on that? So he's not counted. They still get their 20 skaters. But, he's not counted, which means he could still be on the bench as long as he's got the jersey and the helmet on.
That's how I'm reading it.
For those of you that know, like, how many people they can have on the bench, well, coaches, you can only have 4 people on the bench. So whether it's manager, doorman, manager, coach, whatever, you get 4. And then you get 20 skaters, which is 18 can be skaters, 17 can be skaters, 19 can be skaters. You get 20 total, folks. You can have you can have as many goalies as you want.
You can only have 18 skaters.
18 skaters, my bad. But you can have as many goalies as you want.
If you want to dress 10 goalies,
you dress
10
4 or
players,
5
go right
goalies,
ahead.
knock yourself out. So, 18 skaters.
At least
you
in
are correct.
Our level.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, very cool. Well, let's keep moving. Again, guys, if you have some questions on any of the rule changes you want to talk about or you want to discuss, put them in the comments. We do this every Wednesday. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the like button and the notification button so that you can be notified when we come on. We do this at noon, Chicago time. And let's keep scrolling here. You tell me when you want to stop here on some of these. Anything with major penalties there? Should we talk about that? That refers to adults?
No, I mean, if you want to talk about it, yeah, go ahead.
No, that's all right. We'll keep moving. Some match penalty stuff that comes up.
Goalkeeper, stop right here. Okay. So this one got defeated. It's, what is that, Proposition 45 there, 407A. Requires goalkeepers to serve their own major or misconduct penalties. It's got defeated by the Rules Committee, but I like what they're doing there. A player on the ice has to serve that penalty for that goalie. Johnny's got to serve the goalkeeper's 10-minute penalty. I don't know if I like that, but, college hockey, if a goalkeeper gets a misconduct, he sits in the box.
Going in the box. But I will tell you, I will tell you, he gets to sit
in the box, and he gets a friend because the friend's got to be able to jump out of the box.
Right.
So just putting that out there. I like the idea of it. I see that it got defeated. I like that somebody wanted to put it in there, but I think that's a good proposal. It might come up later.
Well, with regard to, putting somebody in that's on the ice, I think typically if the goalie gets that misconduct, he's probably not going to do that again after his buddy has to go sit for 10 minutes in the box. I think that will probably be a pretty good learning lesson for him. If not, then we've got a bigger problem than the 10-minute misconduct that he just got, in my opinion.
No, I agree with you. The other one, too, is just above it, which is on match penalties. Establishes the minimum suspension for a match penalty is 1 full game, and the next game on the schedule must be included in any suspension. So
that's probably good for a tournament. That eliminates like letting the guy out and letting him off the hook at a tournament where they do have the executive power to make those decisions. Now, that could be really tough in a state tournament where, they have the committees that are on hand trying to, have the hearings immediate for anything that happens. But that kid's still going to be sitting a game. So you are definitely, putting somebody out at that point. Well,
it aligned it that a match penalty, if a referee calls a match penalty, they would have called a game if they would have called anything less. So you would have had a game anyways.
Right.
So why didn't the match penalty have that very clearly laid out that you are going to get a game suspension no matter what? You get a match, you're gonna get one. That's what it looks like it's saying to me, but I could be wrong. If somebody reads it differently than me, go ahead. But I just like how it aligned it with the game misconducts because, if you have a match penalty and let's say there's video evidence and all that, and everybody looks at it and goes, all right, it was close to an injury, but it should have been a 5-inning game. Well, now you let him off the match, but there's no suspension other than that.
Yeah.
So why not align it with game misconducts?
Well, let's look at 409 as well, because they talked about moving the face-off into the end zone of the offending team. Basically, the Johnny's Ice House Men's League rule, where you get a penalty, the face-off takes place in your zone. Now, I could tell you, you still have a lot of coaches that ask that same question. Why is that face-off not going down in the end zone? It's still a last play, basically face-off at the nearest dot without getting an advantage, depending on where the stoppage took place. And,
according to 409, calls for the face-off to take place in the end zone of the offending team and a penalty is assessed. The Rules Committee moved to approve it. They recommended it, but they had two other ones. So let's clarify this how these three are in a row here. So you have 47A, B, and C. I think it is, Scott. It's just barely cut off. It's just barely cut off.
Yeah, let me see if I can just scoot it over a little bit. Yep, there you go.
There you go. There you go.
Better. Sorry, guys.
Sorry. Well, but why there's the three of them is they're all different because, they had 47B right here, and it calls for a face-off to take place in the end zone of the offending team, which the penalty is assessed at the U. It's supposed to be 15U. They get this out very quick. 15-0. We can forgive them, everybody. It's supposed to be 15U and above. So they wanted to try and change it three possibly different ways in order to get it into the rule book somewhere, to get it started, to get it tried. It's just like icing the puck in the U15 and above. So they tried to align it, but overall USA Hockey, it looks like, wants to have it where it's going to move for every classification. Okay, I agree with that. What do you think, Scott? I mean,
I would be okay with that. If you started that at U15, just like you allowed them to start icing the puck on the penalty kill at U15, I'm be totally okay with taking the face-off down to the end zone after a penalty. Just think, we have to make a determination. Probably as they move forward and they move up in ranks, because if you go, college is done that way, correct?
Right.
You get a penalty, you're going to have the face-off in your zone. So we're preparing these guys to get through high school and college. And if you're going U15 plus, now does that mean that they would make that same move for JV in high school? That would be a big question, because JV in high school have still been able to ice the puck. Their rules have not changed. And maybe at that point, it's time to think about making that same rule change so it's more consistent at a certain age group.
Well, Scott, so I'm just saying, I'm pointing out that the other two got defeated, and that was to make it just to the U15 and above. They're going to change it for everybody. And it kind of makes a lot of sense, because every other level of hockey, after you get outside of USA Hockey, they bring the face-off down into the offending team zone.
Right.
So again, getting it started early, it's preparing them for Johnny's.
Yeah.
Did you see that from Gary?
Gary, we already mentioned that this is the Johnny's Ice House Men's League rule. So yes, that is correct.
No, I think it's a good rule. I get where they do it. And plus, it takes a lot of guesswork out of the officials. If you put it down there, you don't have to figure out, was he close enough to this? Did he pick it up here? Where was the last play? Weird things. It'll shoot out a play. Yeah. And you're like, well, where does it go? Just put it all the way down there and be done with it.
So you've got a penalty coming on a team, the defending team. The offensive team shoots the puck out of the rink undeflected. Where's the face-off going to be? It's going to be outside the zone, because you had the stoppage. You've already established your face-off location by the offensive team shooting the puck out of the rink, not touching the crossbar or anything like that. So your face-off is going there, and the question's going to come from the coach. why isn't it down there? Well, because you've established the face-off before this penalty is assessed based on what's going on. So,
yes, the end zone face-off is happening. It's approved. It's recommended to be approved. So let's clarify this real quick. These are the proposed rule changes. These aren't actually passed yet. They'll be passed at the annual meeting, which happens in June. These are the proposed ones. This just came out the 15th. On the right here where it says PRC recommended, that's the rules committee. I honestly don't know what the P is for. I'm not versed in all that, but they give, if they defeat it, they don't vote upon it. If they approve as an amendment, they're basically saying to USA Hockey, we like this. We should do this.
Right.
Here we go. Let's do it. Now, I can tell you in a lot of cases, if they approve it, it passes. But there are stuff that, it does get held up. But it's not official yet. So let's not take this as official. These are the proposed rule amendments.
We're talking about proposed rule changes, and we need to be very clear on that. We will usually, I've only been around for a couple rule changes because it's only every 4 years. And this is like my 9th season, I think. So basically, you end up getting an email from your referee in chief. It used to be Barrett would send one out, but it'd be Mr. Kousel now that would send one out. And, they'll attend the meeting. They'll come back with a summary of the main rules that we need to know. A lot of it is just going to be language, and a lot of it makes a lot of sense to make the language changes. But, the big rules, there's usually probably 3 or 4 big ones that come out, and they will pound those into our heads until we are blue in the face and make sure that we know those. And, of course, there'll be a number of those on the open book and the closed book tests next year when the time comes, so that we all know those new rules. So that's basically how that works, guys. If you're not sure,
they pass.
And again, it's only the ones that pass. But it's interesting to look at. They go through everything here, guys. So a lot of stuff is defeated. Appointment of official. Well, here, let's look at what's the numbers
53.
on this. Number 53, 501A, appointment of officials, allows the 4 official system to be used at the 14 and under age classification. Now, I gotta think back. State tournament AAA, so tier 1. Did we go 4? No, we went 3 officials for that, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right, Brad? That's a 3 official. So now they're going to look to go 4 official, which is what they use at nationals. Is that right, or were they using 3s at nationals?
Everything was 4, I believe, supposed to be last year, except for I think the 14s. I think those were going to be 3 again.
We're still going to be 3s. Okay.
I think those. I think it's already feels so long ago that got canceled in Chicago.
Well, we had a lot of 2-man for the U14s last year, even in the tier 1 level. And that I know I've worked some of the games for the girls when they've had the U16s and U18s. And most of those games are always worked as 2-man. And then you get to state tournament and they become 3-man. And the first couple games that get played for the players, it's confusing because they're not used to having a linesman on the line like the entire game. And it's an adjustment period for them. They're just not used to seeing it. So it takes them a game or two to get acclimated with it. And yet when they get to national, they're going to see 3. So it makes sense that they would see some of these things before they go to nationals, hopefully. Right now, if we open up tomorrow, they'll be grateful to see 2 there, okay?
They'll be happy to see 1.
Exactly.
And going back to this again, Scott, look at the one above it, which is number 52. This has been a hot issue.
It has, because this at one time was legal. This is before my time as being a referee, but they used to allow the 2 referee, 1 linesman system, which we still use in college here. So the ACHA games, there are some of those games that are not 4-man. They will be done as a 3-man with 2 refs and a linesman, which is an interesting concept. And it's been talked about year in and year out for the last 4 or 5 years that I'm aware of people always trying to bring that one back because of the number of officials that we have available to work these games, because it still gives you an extra set of eyes on the players. You still get the benefit of the 2 refs out there, and you get the benefit of the 3rd person being out there to assist. Why they don't want to do it, I'm not sure. Maybe you have a better insider viewpoint on that, Brad.
I believe, as it was explained to me many, many years ago, as the officiating staffs would age, the older gentlemen of the groups, which would stick around until they were in their late 60s, and they'd get all referee spots. And the young guys that are 21 that can skate would get stuck on the blue line, game in and game out, game in and game out. That's what was explained to me. I don't know how true that is. But then they got rid of it and went to all one referee and two linesmen. So it reversed the positioning. So, and that was because there was starting to be more officials, but that's what was explained to me many years ago. Plus, if anybody's worked the two referee, one linesman, it's a more complex system than going out there and doing one referee skating up and down the ice, two linesmen that are just on the blue line, because now it gets confusing for the players as well, because now the one referee might be putting their arm up for an icing situation. Right. I mean, and then the idea is then the one linesman's always chasing the icing down, hitting the whistle, picking the puck up, coming down. But now the goalies, you see it, not lower level, ACHA hockey, where the referee will put their arm up and the goalie will leave the net, and it's an icing situation. And they're young adults, and it happens. So imagine, an 8-year-old or a 16-year-old midget player.
Yeah,
I just don't see it working very well. I understand why a lot of people want that system to come back.
I saw that at a high school game where the goalie left thinking the referee that something had happened and the hand went up. And the play was touched by another player. It was not blown by either of the referees. And and they scored. There was a goal scored. But, the officials got together with the linesmen and they worked it out and they got the call right, which was good to see. Shouldn't have happened, but it was rectified and all was good. Everybody was, tame at that point, let's just say.
Well, it's interesting to see, too, how many, things get put into this, because the next one there, 54, Scott, allows for an official who've reached 21 years of age to sign a waiver not to wear a visor, which got defeated, of course.
Yeah,
so, but
when I started 9 years ago, you didn't have to wear a visor. It was optional at that point. Most guys were wearing it, but a lot of the veteran officials were not wearing the visor, and then they made it mandatory. So, obviously, if they were going to do that, that would mean that they were going to take the visor off, and I don't think that's ever going to happen. That they're going to remove the visor from the referee or from the official.
I don't think so. I don't foresee it happening. Not only that, I don't know exactly who writes the insurance underwriter policy, but I'm sure if you're going to allow people to do that, there's going to be a premium rate being tagged onto that insurance bill. Just putting that out there. So,
Well, let me ask you this one, Brad. Let's look at number 55 that allows local leagues and areas to assign numbers to officials, and advisors cannot be altered. Okay, let's forget the visor alter, but assigns numbers to the officials. Is that referring to wearing numbers on the back of your jersey? Because we see a number like when we would have the World Invite, the CCM World Invite, or Nike Bauer, whatever you guys want to call this tournament, the big tournament. You do have referees that come in from other parts of the country, and they have names on the back of their jerseys. They have numbers on the back of their jerseys. And my understanding is we used to have that in Illinois because I knew officials that did, but then they stopped that. So we don't have names on the back of our jerseys for any of the leagues, I believe, at least certainly not in the Tier 1 all the way up to U18. Maybe in like this NHL, whatever, not NHL, what's the junior league that they have? I know some
USPHL?
of those guys. USPHL. Do they have names and numbers on the back of their jerseys? I think they might have.
They wear nameplates.
Nameplates, yeah.
Nameplates. And so it depends on your area. Like they can make it an extra thing. In Chicago, I can tell you, we used to wear them for high school. And there was a gentleman that was very much against it. And, if you didn't wear it, you got fined. Well, he got tired of his fines, and it said you have to wear a nameplate. So he went out and he got a nameplate, and, you're supposed to put your last name on it. Well, instead, he put no call. Nocall, and put it on his back. So, people are always going to get you. The reason that they took the last names off of people's backs, let's put it that way, because that's basically where it is. The last names on the back of our sweaters was harassment on different media devices. So they decided to alter that, and I think it came down to harassment of a minor, an adult on a minor.
Yep.
And it was threatening of physical violence towards a minor, and it was through some sort of media service. I don't know if it was an email or anything like that, but the way they were able to find out their information in order to contact them was because of the name on their back.
Yeah, social media could be pretty cruel in that situation, I'm sure. That's why, guys, you have to be careful what you post, who you post, and all that good stuff. So let's look at a couple things, though, here. Real quickly, let's take a couple of the comments. But I want to remind everybody, I'm just going to kind of break in here on this. We had talked about having the stories of the men's league today, but we ended up with the rules, and we really thought we wanted to go through this because it's kind of timely. We are going to do this in January at some point. We've got some guests lined up for this, and if you haven't submitted a story yet, please do so. We'd love to have you come on the show. You could do it either via on camera like we do, or you could do it via telephone. We can make that happen where you could call into the show. So if you have a story, if you want to send it to one of us, that would be great. It's what's your email address there, Brad? Give it to them.
refroombrad@gmail.com.
And refroomscott@gmail.com. See, pretty easy.
I was going to say you could send it to Scott, and I was going to give him your email, but you beat me to it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So anyway, think about that. We will do that. We're going to have some fun, and I've already got guests lined up for this, so it should be a good time. We have some fun with it. A couple other things. We got a couple comments, so let's just go in and look at a few of these. We've got a Facebook user here that says, "So I'm confused. Is the end zone face-off happening after penalties?" I think we clarified this, but I'll just go through it one more time. So if you're seeing this on Facebook, the answer is no. These rules have not been approved yet. So there are no changes in any rules. And if there were changes, rule changes take place. Is it August 1st or August 31st? I forget when the new book kicks in. I think it's August 1st, if I'm not mistaken. So even if we reopen and you're working men's league games, which is all that's available that time of year, it's like summer. The rules change over like August 1st. That's when the rules change. So, but you'll get an email. You'll get notified.
Yeah.
They won't leave you in the blue.
They let you know. No,
Absolutely.
they let you know. So I wouldn't be worried about it. So, because even USA sends out a big expose every year now when there's a rule change. So, they used to do this every 2 years. And, I think just looking at there's 240 pages. Could you imagine doing this every 2 years? That's why they went to the 4 years.
Yeah.
Plus, they also realized that 2 years isn't long enough to evaluate if the change is working or not. And when they changed to the 4 years, they also put in a clause, basically, that they can addend the rule book as they go. When it was 2 years, you had to wait for a rule change year. It was stuck. You were stuck with it for 2 years. Now, during the 4 years, they can get together and change the rule book as we go and then clear it up the next rule change.
Well, a good example of them being able to override it, and if they want to put a rule into place, they certainly can, because we had it for the match penalty rule, which used to be a game misconduct penalty, I believe, and that was for inappropriate language that was considered to be more than just offensive.
Discriminatory or hateful speech.
So that was changed during the course of the season, and we got an email from the president of USA Hockey, Jim Smith, and of course our referee in chief and everybody else from the association here. Let everybody know what the deal is. So you'll definitely get updated on that.
What was odd about that, Scott, is I know some people here were like, well, this doesn't happen that much, and people went back and looked, and it was like a record year for it happening. I mean, it happened in one of the games I was on, and I'm not going to lie, I hadn't heard any of this. It had been 10 years probably It's just, I don't know if everybody's playing too much Call of Duty at home and talking to each other terribly. It just, I don't know what it is. It was just a weird year. So, it was going on pretty much everywhere.
Well,
the culture's changed. So
I'll
we
go a
have to
step
change our game.
further. I mean, I've had, I've played hockey all my life since I'm probably like 7 years old. I think I've been playing hockey. And, I've played on a lot of teams, played in a lot of men's leagues. And some things I've seen in the last 10 years that I had never seen ever while I was playing. I mean, I had a player that was on my B team down at Johnny's. He went over and spit on some guy at the bench, and they threw him out. I mean, they threw him out, period. You are gone forever. I can't tell you how embarrassed I am that I'm on a team that had something like that happen. I had another biggest guy on the team, biggest, toughest guy. He kicked some guy one day in a game. And it's like, really? Like, you get thrown out of like 2/3 of the games that we're in, and yet you're the biggest brute out here and you're going to kick some guy. Again, just total embarrassment. Like, I would never expect to ever see some of this stuff happen that has happened in the last 10 years. And it goes down to, like, we never shot a puck at a referee. We never bumped a referee. I mean, if the referee was over there, you went the other way, basically, but you never touched the referee. You never put the referee into play. These are things that are not taught to the players anymore. It's something that I see that I just don't like. I wish coaches would be, a little bit more. What's the word to even use? A little more, progressive, thoughtful about teaching players things of this nature. But there's more to coaching, guys. I mean, if you're a coach, you really, certain things you just need to explain to players. They don't take it for granted that they know that already, because I don't think they do. So with that being said, let's keep going here with some of the other stuff.
Go ahead, yeah.
Always found it weird that it looks so long to do so. High sticking, puck face off at the end zone. High stick a player in the face off last play.
So in other words, we'll clarify this as
this needs interpretation.
I get when I saw it come up, I read it and I'm like, oh, okay, I got it. So what they're trying to say is, if you high stick the puck out of play, the face-off goes into the end zone of the offending team. But if you high stick a player in the face anywhere else on the ice, it goes to the last play. But yet batting the puck out of play with a high stick goes all the way down the ice. Yeah. I get it. I get
that's
the
actually
point
a really good analogy,
made.
to be honest with you, and it makes sense. I think that's what you ought to use if you want to get this rule changed. This is absolutely the scenario to say this is why the rule should change, and you should move the puck into the offending team zone for the faceoff.
Well, and the best part about it is playing the puck with a high stick and knocking it out of play. What's the reason that they penalize you so bad to go down the ice? Because they don't want somebody getting high sticked. That's the reason that they have it in there that
That's exactly
way.
Right. They don't want guys playing the puck with a stick like that, so they want the most severe penalty without giving you a penalty. So,
right, but yet if you high stick somebody in the face, it's just we're going to leave it there. So I never thought of it that way. But that's a great point. I don't know who made that, because it says Facebook.
That came from Christopher Hahn. Yeah, we're getting a lot of thumbs up and hearts for that. So Christopher, very well said. And yes, that would be a good one to send to USA Hockey as an analogy for that, because that would kind of sum things up, I think.
I think it looks like, they put it on there, to approve. They've put it that way. So I think it's going to be a dead issue nowadays, hopefully, and we'll just streamline with everybody else. Yeah. We finally went to 9 dots at the last rule
it took
change.
A long time. That's right. Took a long time.
And now we're going to go with this one, I think, too. So that it's a good forward movement.
Yeah. And Karen, I hope everything is not blurry for you. I don't know if it's the rules that are blurry for you, but or the interpretations. But we're always glad when you're on the show. So thanks for checking us out. We got one more here from a Facebook user. It says, "Visor has saved me so many times. Thank God it's mandatory." Yeah, it's. I think you're going to have guys that view this in two different viewpoints, to put it politely. Some of the guys that have been around are adamant they do not like the visor. Some of them really love the visor. Some of them probably would tell you that they're happy it's mandatory so that they can wear it without feeling like maybe I shouldn't have it on, or, I might be discriminated against for wearing the visor. I could tell you, I've been saved a number of times. I took a pretty good stick to the face from a player that just turned around like swinging at a puck wildly and cracked me right in the shield. I'm sure that saved me a broken nose, some teeth, maybe an eye. I'm not sure. I've taken a puck off the visor a couple times. It's not fun. But, and I also know the other side of things where we have some referees that have been injured because sticks come up and they get caught in the visor. And that's when it becomes a problem having the visor. That's probably the only time I would say the visor is a real potential, danger. And that's if you get a stick caught up there and the guy's trying to get that stick out because he doesn't even know he's got it up there, or he doesn't care, and he's just going to try to rip that thing out. And we've had some injuries from that, haven't we? If I'm not mistaken, over the years, Brad.
Yeah, it's still, thank God, it's rare. Luckily, even without a visor, it's still pretty rare. Luckily, our anatomy is pretty good. Our eyes are sunken into our head for a reason. If guys break their cheekbone or their brow, but your eye may be bruised, but it's still pretty much intact. And I'm the opposite of the visor has saved me many times. I would not wear it. I don't like the bubble view that it gives me, but you know what? I was able to find a very good visor that has no tint in it, and it came out a long time ago, and it sits real far on the helmet. So, like, Scott, you've seen mine. Mine sits back further than a lot of guys' visors do. So
let's actually talk about the visors, because, guys, there is a huge difference in what you're getting for a visor. So, like in the NHL, they probably use they call it a straight visor, and it's
the pro cut. That's what I have.
Straight pro cut. So the pro cut means it's a little bit narrower, because you can see some of the guys at ref have this thing that's like this, and it goes over their nose, and it looks like they have a mustache from the moisture off their their breathing, and it looks kind of funky. It looks like they're in a fishbowl. But if you get a good quality straight visor, the optics are so much better. You can buy a visor for $19, or you can buy a visor for probably for like $80. But the minute you put it on, you will actually be able to tell the difference. I know, honestly, this goes back a long time. I was probably like a level 2, and I changed my visor out. And it was the day I changed the visor out. Puck got shot along the glass. I thought the puck had gone over the glass and was gone because the optics were so different. I blew the whistle. And then it's like, oh, sorry, it's the optics on the visor. I couldn't see. But, you get used to it after you wear it a few times. But there are big differences in the quality of what you can get. And there are some companies that still make, the kind of narrow one. They got very hard to get.
Right.
I know I replaced my visor probably 2 years ago, and man, it took me forever to find a visor. I ended up with the CCM, and I think I got it like Total Hockey or whatever the case. But it was, it was the narrowest one you could get. It wasn't as narrow as what I had. I had the Oakley, which was really nice. But after having it for a number of years, it was pretty scratched up. And who bought? I think, did CCM buy Oakley? Yeah, so
they're
now you can actually, I saw one in the store the other day that's smaller. Probably it's the Oakley with a different name on it, would be my guess. They've probably finally changed everything out, but I haven't needed a new visor recently to go buy one. But I just happened to see when I was in the store, and it was pretty cool. But think about that, guys. Try some different visors. Look at them. Ask some of your fellow officials some questions about the visors, and I'm sure somebody will steer you in the right direction, because especially for the newer guys when you're just starting out, and this is really true, like for all our level 1 officials and even some of the level 2s, and we are going to have a show on this. We are going to go through our bags and show you what we carry in the bag. We're going to show you the equipment we use, and maybe, how to use it, or why we use it, or why we carry what we carry with us to all these games. And if you're a newer official, this would be very beneficial, because I know I had a friend that started me off as a referee, and he made sure I had a jersey. He gave me his old stuff is what he did. He gave me his jersey and a pair of pants and a bag so I could at least look like, I belonged there when I went to the seminar for the level 1. And, you don't know what to buy. You don't know the differences in the quality of the jerseys. You don't know the differences in, what you're wearing for protective equipment or why you should be wearing certain protective equipment and not wearing. So this would be very helpful, I think. I wish I had seen this or knew more about it when I started as a referee 9 years ago. Instead, it took a little time to kind of learn these things and feel things out. And I got to give a shout out to what's Andy that was the NHL linesman McElman because when I went to the level 1 seminar, it was the year of the lockout for the NHL, and so he taught me how to drop the puck, and he also taught me about like taking some tape and putting it around my skate so that my pant leg would not get tucked in the back. My skates, the pant went right into the back of the skate. And, you look like a tool out there, but you're a level 1. You're at a seminar. You don't know any better because nobody had ever shown you. I didn't know what a shin tight was at that point, but I learned. He showed me, took the time, and I was like, thank you. That that makes perfect sense. Didn't even think about it, but that's how you are when you go in as a level 1. So you're always looking to your fellow officials to learn something, and Again, what we do, guys, a lot of it is perception. The way you look out there, the way you approach things, it will only help you. It won't hurt you unless you're not doing it the right way. In that case, it will hurt you the minute you step on the ice and people will know, or you could be an NHL referee with the pants tucked in the back and a bad sweater and everything else and go out there and they're going to be like, who is this idiot? And, you call the best game in the world, but you need to look the part, guys. It's just part of it.
But like I said before, Scott, everybody doesn't like you as is in order to start. You don't want to make it worse by wearing stuff.
Oh, I thought you meant me personally. Nobody likes me. I'm like, I know, but besides that.
Like if you're going to go referee, don't buy one of these. I mean, these are cool and all. They're a lot of fun.
I am gonna totally disagree with you because you know what? If you wore that out there, half the fans would appreciate it. They would get a kick out of it. The players would love you for it. I think that there are times where you should put something like that on and, let's go have some fun. And, you could still do your job well. And if you both walked out there with those on, you'd look great.
I know. Hang on, but you didn't let me finish, though.
My man, Eric Arrigo at the Hockey Ref Shop, hooked us up with those. And those things are so well made. They look great. I've seen a few of our officials wearing them on Facebook, and they look phenomenal, and you should wear them to every holiday party.
But the point was, I was going to get to it, Scott. You interrupted me. If you're doing it in June, all right, people are going to have an issue with it, all right? Okay, like at Christmas time, you could probably sneak one of them in, every once in a while. I mean, you may get a nasty gram afterwards from somebody higher up, so just remember that and say I'm sorry and walk away. But no, I think these are great. I wouldn't. It's an actual referee sweater. That's what's amazing about it. But I wore it to the store last week, and I had like 10 people stop me and ask me about it, and they weren't even hockey people. They were I referee football. Who makes this thing? So I don't know. I mean, maybe he'll branch out into some other sports next year.
Yeah.
So, but it's kind of interesting. Just like I don't know if you've been wearing the gaiter. I have, and people have stopped me about it because I haven't seen a lot of referee stuff. So it was kind of cool.
Yep. Well, as long as we're on the subject of uniforms, I mean, I'll come right back out. I'd love to see an updated uniform for the referees. I'd love to see the jerseys made to look a little more modern. I like the NHL jerseys. I like some of the leagues that I've seen that have their own jerseys. And, we just go back to looking like Foot Locker salesmen all the time. No offense to anybody at Foot Locker, but, they're boring. They're a little boring. I'd like to see an update. I'd like to see something that's a little more unique and more, updated, I guess. We've been wearing the same uniform forever. It gets boring after a while.
I get it, but it comes down to cost too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody's doing this. You know, you're already paying in your money to get your cert and all that stuff. So now you got to go buy something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, that's the big thing.
I get it. You know, we got a few more comments. Let's put a few
There's
of these
quite a
out
few
there.
actually up there.
Yeah. Let's see.
The big one from Karen is a big one.
Am I getting to that? Is she further?
No. It's next.
Oh, what? The one about D2 or?
And wear them properly, please.
Oh,
it's right
okay.
after this comment.
The NHL buys out a lot of the CCM Pro straight cut. Yeah, I'm sure they do, or they're made for the NHL. I mean, that's what they want. So, you know, they don't want, some of the players don't want anything more than they have to. They have to wear the visor. So they want the best possible situation that they can have out there for visibility. And that would be the straight visor. Let's see. Okay, Karen. And wear them properly, please. What is she referring to? The Christmas sweater, or is she referring to the shield? The visor.
She's referring to the visor. So
to the visor.
What Karen's referring to there, just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's called what you know, we deemed it during junior hockey. It was eventually deemed. It's called scooping. So you take your visor, and yeah, it should be right here, right? But they take it and they cock it up on their helmet. So now they have like this much. Like what's the point? You're not wearing it properly, you know.
I call them forehead protectors. There's some guys that play in the men's league that do that. They wear their helmet. It's like this, and you got the visor up here, basically protecting the shiny part of their head. And yeah, but yeah, that's definitely the case. All right, we got a few more. So yes, Karen, we agree with you on that. They look better when they're worn properly. Mark,
well, if you're gonna wear it, wear it.
I'm for a full face shield if they could make one, because I took a puck in the mouth once and it was not fun. Yeah, I agree with you on taking the puck in the face. That is never fun, Mark. That's why you see a lot of officials learn to do this in a lot of situations, so that they can protect themselves from taking that puck in the face. You know, you get sticks that come up during the face-offs. And if you work the younger kids, if you're working the mites and squirts, when you get to the face-off dot, be prepared, because a lot of times those kids just fall down when they haven't even started the face-off. And what's the first thing that happens? Stick goes straight up in the air. They jack you right in the face. So, you know, it happens. So, yeah, I get where you're coming. And Mark had another follow-up to that. He says the Oakley visors are well worth the money. I would agree. Unfortunately, I don't think you can get the Oakleys anymore. You've got to buy them from somebody else. You might be able to find some online. But, yeah, they are good. Our next comment, USA Hockey needs to update the rule book for officials' uniform. See, there you go.
You don't like
I don't think they mean necessarily changing the uniform, but just update. So maybe you could be more specific as to what you'd like to see updated. And I'm not sure who that came from. Let me see if I can.
Maybe they're referring to that they don't want us to wear a black hockey helmet. I mean, you know, because it's specific. That's all it says. Officials must wear a black hockey helmet. Like, okay, like, I mean, you would think common sense they wouldn't go out there with a football helmet on, but you know what? I get it. I don't think USA updating the rule book would really change that much. I mean, unless they said, you know, we're going to go to the old professional league before they all became the NHL, and they're going to wear blue and red or whatever the heck they wore back in the day, you know.
Right.
So I don't think they're going to do that. So plus, you know, everywhere in the world, everybody wears black and white.
Yeah.
So you can go anywhere and everybody's got it. The only difference is red armbands or orange. So, you know, that's the big difference.
Well, is that optional? Do you have an option here? No, they make you wear the orange. They don't want you wearing the reds.
Good luck finding them here. I mean,
well, that's the Canadian thing. You can get them. As a matter of fact, I could have put them up on our videos in YouTube. We had the option to link some stuff from Amazon. I actually found the sweaters that have the red bands on them for referees. What I could not find were the referee, like the CCM with the orange bands. Couldn't find one of those to put up. So go figure. But again, it's probably a Canadian link or whatever, and that's what they wear. A lot of guys don't even remember. At one point, the NHL wore one armband. It was only one, and it was red. Back in the 70s. I mean, that was early 70s. That was one armband in red. Before your time there, Brad?
definitely don't remember that one.
You didn't
Scott.
need to
Sorry.
know that information, huh? I should have kept that to
No.
myself. All right.
No, it's like my dad. Do you remember the 1978 White Sox? Dad, what year was I born? Good point. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. You don't have to buy a new sweater, but at least give us the option if the whole crew has it. That's kind of cool. I mean, I've seen that with the, cancer, the puck cancer games where they have the breast cancer sweaters. They're like purple and pink, sort of, whatever color
They're
that
pink
is.
and black.
Pink
They're
and
pink
black.
and black.
Okay.
Yep.
They look nice, and I've seen them on the crew, and it's a nice, refreshing change. Just like I think it would be cool if the whole crew wore the sweater that you have on, Brad. I think that would look really great. So I vote for that. I agree. It says USA Hockey regulations, what type of sweaters officials wear. There are some leagues that have approved different sweaters, and USA Hockey said no. Well, I've seen, I just saw one of the guys had a sweater from one of the other leagues, and I'm not sure what league it was, but it was like a modified of the NHL version, had more orange in it and some more in the in like the chest area. I thought it looked really great. It was a good looking sweater. I was like, wow, that's nice. It's updated. It's fresh. You look at some of the European official jerseys, they're more like advertising monikers. I mean, it looks like a billboard of some sort. All their, whenever they start putting stickers all over the helmet and on the pants and everywhere else, it's unique to what they are and what they do. So take it or leave it. I don't think those look as sharp as, as if you have a real clean uniform.
Scott, if somebody was going to pay me $1,000 for the season to put a big stupid sticker on the forehead right here on my helmet,
you'd have two of them.
I would have 4 helmets, and I would change them out when the one got sweaty, so the sticker possibly wouldn't get hurt.
You can buy a period. This is the first period helmet. I have a second period helmet. Marty Tong says 77 White Sox, so you're not even in the ballpark there.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, whatever my dad says to me, I'm paying attention 50% of the time.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
And somebody says the reason they went to Orange W. What's Orange W?
I don't know.
The reason they went to Orange. I don't know why they went to Orange, but
Lineman sent something.
Yeah, a redesigned crest would be nice. Yeah, that's an interesting point that you bring up, Brandon. I mean, the crest changes every other year, and all it does is flips the red and the blue on the crest. But I did see one. They had a special. Was it like a silver edition? I don't know how many years USA Hockey's been around, but they had a silver edition for 1 year that I saw one of the refs.
It was gold. It was gold.
Oh, I only saw
2000.
I don't know if I've seen the gold one. I saw one that I thought was silver. So I wonder if that was another.
Gold.
Okay.
I'm 99% sure it was gold.
Okay. I thought that was pretty cool. So
and it was to signify how many years even just that it was 2000. I can't remember because that crest was only 2000. It wasn't, 99, 2000. It was just 2000.
Okay.
Like all of ours now, like this year's coming
ours
up.
Are two, it has
21,
2 years
22.
Right.
75th. There it goes.
By the way, I don't
want
to wear the one that says 20 on it for anything that says 2020. Okay. I'm all about forget it. Couple others. Let's see. We got,
it was silver. You were right, Scott.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry if I'm dominating the chat, kind of passionate about the sweater topic. No, that's awesome. We appreciate your chiming in because it's something I'd like to see changed. I mean, I'm a fan of, updating stuff and looking new. I mean, I like traditional. I mean, but look, the Blackhawks have a great uniform. They've tweaked it over the years. It tweaks. They change company. Why can't we tweak? I know there is a cost. So, I respect that and I understand. Janie says the M. Well, that was regarding to the orange.
There was a reason they went to orange.
The reason it went to orange was Orange W versus the M. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
The me. I don't know.
I wonder if he's using it.
Oh, you're the reason why they went to orange instead of red. Is that what you're trying to say?
You know what? His Surrey doesn't get along with him either. Because my voice to text does not work at all.
Okay. And they had a silver for their 75th anniversary. Yeah, those were, I thought they looked pretty cool. It was different. Actually, in my opinion, I think that the crest over the last couple years, the last maybe 3 years ago, I think they changed the quality of it. It wasn't as thick as it used to be, so it was a little bit tougher to keep on the sweater. If you're using Velcro, I don't know. I use Velcro on my sweater. I think the majority of the guys do. Some use like a two-sided carpet tape. I've seen a number of the guys use that have to wear a lot of different crests. So, what do you guys use? Do you guys use Velcro, or do you guys use carpet tape, or do you have them sewn on? Some guys have them sewn on permanently, and then they got a problem. But
then you have guys with safety pins.
Yeah, you do. So put it in the comments so we know. What do you guys use? Velcro, safety pin, or do you hot glue them on, or there's lots of ways to do this.
All right. We got the answer
now,
why
now
it
they
changed
said
to orange.
because of TV. Okay,
Go to
that
the
makes sense.
next comment. Comment.
Okay,
it clears it up.
All right. The red changed to orange because the red showed up on the TV as green. That's interesting. I don't ever remember seeing it look like it was green.
Maybe it was in the 60s, Scott.
I
were
don't
watching
know.
hockey
I don't know
then,
about it.
weren't
Maybe
you?
that was when they were doing the games in black and white or something. They look different, but I don't ever remember seeing them look green on the TV. So I don't know if I'm buying that one. Okay. Let's see. We got one more. Nope. Sorry, hit the wrong one here. I use magnets. Yeah. Okay. Good luck on that one. And back in the day, haha. Yes, that would have been back in the day. All right, guys, we're going to, one more here. The wider striped sweaters have a more updated look. I agree with you, Mark. I think they look really nice. That wider stripe looks much more contemporary. And then when you add in, even if you just kept the orange or added some of the, some black or some gray to it, I think it would look great. So I like those a lot as well. I think they're just more slimming and more contemporary looking, in my opinion. That's maybe we'll agree or maybe not. So
No, I agree. I mean, see again, once again, well, just like going back to the visors, I'm such a traditionalist. I still like the smaller bars. I know, a lot of places have switched to it, but I still like it.
Somebody says they have 3M magnets that stick to the crest. I'm not aware of that. I haven't seen anybody with that before. That would be a new one on me. I've seen, most guys are Velcro or carpet tape,
snaps.
And a few is. I've seen that.
Seen snaps.
Snaps, yes, but that you've got to have them installed on the crest. I don't know that that's the best way to go. For the guys that are using Velcro, you can buy the big pieces. Some guys have the Velcro sewn on. Some do it all black. Some do black, white. So it matches the stripes. Everybody gets pretty clever with that stuff. He says, I'll show Bomber. Here we go. So he must have the magnets. Okay. All right. Well, we'll check that out. All right, guys.
Scott, who is that?
Let's see. That's Christopher Hahn.
Okay. Chris, FaceTime me later tonight.
There you go.
I know exactly who it is. So
okay,
no, that's cool.
All right, very good. We're going to start to wind things down. You got anything else you want to add before we go? We've got more rules we could look at, guys. I mean, there's a couple things that are really interesting in there, and time kind of got away from us, as it always does, because that's what happens when we're talking hockey, it seems like.
Scott, can you go to the one that was on page 73? That's the one that is going to probably spark quite a bit of talk from a lot of people.
Okay, give me one
you
second.
Can load that up real quick. Me and Scott went through this because we got it yesterday at about noon, and I don't even know how you got it, but I'm sure it was released.
Good reporter doesn't reveal his sources in case the person doesn't want me to know that I got it or who I got it from.
Okay.
So I'm just going to leave that alone until I thank them, and if they want me to, let people know that I got it from them, I would be happy to. I'm not taking credit for it because somebody did get this for me, and I do appreciate it. 78 is what you want me to do?
73.
73. Okay. All right. 73.
That was the one where they struck out everything.
Okay, let's see if this is. There we go. So 73.
All right. So
everybody should be able to see that now. Okay.
Yeah. So the current. So this is how they when they rewrite and redraft things, so you can look at it. They write it out as how it's already currently on the left here, where it says affiliates of governing bodies are authorized to reduce the length of minor penalties to no less than 1.5 minutes for games under their jurisdiction where period length is reduced to 15 minutes or less. The proposed amendment is on the right over here. The length of minor penalties shall be prorated for the following. Period lengths, 12 minutes or less, 1 minute penalty.
So that would be
Period
probably
length.
mites and squirts, guys. And then everything that would be probably peewee and above, in most cases, would fall in the 13 to 17 minutes, because that even covers high school. That would cover Catholic League. They're playing 17-minute periods. And that would cover the higher levels of most of the tier 1. Do some of the tier 1s play 18 minutes? Do the midgets play 18 minutes, or they play 20, right, Brad? Midget majors
18.
play 18. So
when they get to playoffs, they play 20s.
okay, so they're going to be minute and a half to 2 minute penalties. So this would be a major change to the game. I mean, this would reduce penalty times considerably.
This is the first time that USA has said that this is kind of what they want, and they're not going to leave it in the hands of the affiliates anymore. I mean, they even, rewrote it so you can't even get around it with the 2 minutes. It goes to the designated minor penalty time in part A there. And then they changed it again, period of 2 minutes, the designated minor penalty time. They always just kept it, they said 2 minutes, and then let the affiliate reduce it if they wanted. So, but if you scroll to the bottom there of that, the committee, they've approved as amended and refer to youth and adult. So it would be
men's league would be getting minute and a half penalties for a men's league game.
So I know this one's going to spark a lot of talk with a lot of people. So that's the big one that caught my eye.
Yeah.
So just other than some verbiage and stuff like that, but this one caught my eye that they would like to have this sit the way it is, and I don't know.
So I'm going to be the devil's advocate here and just throw this back out, where I think it would be very tough for referees with the minute and a half penalty. There are a lot of times with the games that we do when you don't have somebody that really knows how to run the score clock. And because of that, it's, a lot of times you just have to remember what time the player went in the box and what time the penalty ends as the referee. If you have to start doing minute and a half deductions versus 2 minutes. 2 minutes is pretty easy. Went in at 5:15, he's out at 3:15. If you went out in 5:15, now you got to think about it for a second if you're doing minute and a half times. It just makes it that much more challenging. One more thing for the ref to really, really have to think about. And this happens more often than you guys think. And I know a lot of the people watching the show are around hockey and they understand hockey. So they're used to working levels where the clock works. But you all know, if you were a level 1 or a level 2, even some of the level 3s, you've been around for 3 years, this will not be easy for them if they don't have somebody that actually can run the clock like they're supposed to and put the penalties up. If you have to, I've worked high school games with no clock where you have to figure out penalties and keep things going. It's not fun to do. And this will make it that much more challenging. That's my personal opinion. That would be the only downside I can think of as far as that goes.
It's going to test your Common Core math.
Somebody says dumb rule change. Another person says I don't like it. And somebody else gives them 3 thumbs down. At least it wasn't 4 thumbs down, so that's good, right? 5 thumbs down would be the worst.
It would make it smaller. That's why, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
no,
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's definitely a change. And, we've had a big rule change every 4 years. There's always something that comes up that's big. I mean, whether it was the 9 dots or the 2 and 10s. And, we probably didn't get a chance to really go through this as much as we'd like. I'd like to go in and look and see if it's affecting any more of the aggressive penalties. Did you get a chance to look at that, Brad?
No, you know what, Scott? There's so much information there. It takes I can read it, but it takes a couple of days to fully go through it. Yeah, so I mean, we can revisit it next week if you want.
We could actually. I mean, I'm not sure what we're going to do for New Year's. Next year's like a last show of the year, so we might have a little recap or something, and maybe this would be something good to go through after we have a couple days to really look at it and study it. And you guys can take a look at it as well and figure out what you think about some of the changes. I mean, hey, change is always good. I got no problem with making changes if if it makes sense.
Proposed changes.
Yeah, proposed
forget,
changes.
Scott,
These aren't official.
changes.
These
They're
are
not official.
proposed. Right. These are proposed, people. So
And then
with
the
that being
committee is-
said, yeah.
Recommended.
Right. Well, I would like to just wish everybody a happy holiday. Thanks for watching the show. Brad, thank you. It's been a great, what have we been doing this? About 6 months now or longer? It's been a lot of fun. And we're going to continue to do this, even if we can get hockey open back up, hopefully in January at some point. It'll be even easier for all of us because we'll all have situations we'll want to talk about. I think that's been the toughest part about doing the show is, if you're working regularly, there's always something to talk about in the locker room, like something that happened. And we just haven't had that to be able to do. So I'm looking forward to when we can have that opportunity.
Well, Scott, we at the beginning, it was, supposed to be 15 days and we'd be able to go back.
It's going to be more than 15 months. Give me a break.
But it's been interesting. So Merry Christmas,
he's
everybody.
Been reffing in Dallas. Yeah. Well, that's Texas. Good. I'm happy for you. That's good.
Anybody that's able to, more power to you.
Absolutely.
So please.
So happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. Today is Festivus for the rest of us. And, happy Hanukkah for our friends out there as well. So everybody be safe, and we'll look forward to seeing you next Wednesday at noon here in Chicago. And it's the Ref Room. Hit the subscribe button and, hit the notification button. And thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week. Anything else you want to close up on, Brad?
No, just Merry Christmas to everybody. I know if you haven't gone shopping yet, good luck tomorrow. And I'll see you at the mall.
Better send gift cards, I guess, or get in line, one of the two. It's amazing how much traffic's out there, considering we're all supposed to be staying home, but it's busy out there. So again, I think we get the cold weather tomorrow. We got like 50 degrees and windy today, but I think it's supposed to change tomorrow. So a couple of the guys that started putting up those rinks, I think you might be able to finish them up if you do it quickly in the next day or two. You might get a little skating in outside. So with that being said, have fun, everybody. We will see you next Wednesday at noon. I'm Scott Smokin' Sills from my man, Brad Baumrock. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out.